like the least flattering thing I've ever put on my body. Oh my god. Hello filmmakers, Ash here and welcome to Film It Yourself. So, as you might already know, LAIKA reached out and wanted to collaborate with me in order to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of ParaNorman. In true spooky fashion, they hired me to recreate a scene from the movie in live action, which features a ghost dog played by your favorite internet dog, Spence. I wish I could say the attention hasn't gone to his head. In case you missed it, you can see the final scene here, but today I wanted to walk you through exactly how we made a ghost dog and all the behind the scenes bits that went into it. The first step was to break down the original scene. In it, we see 5 separate shots of ghost dog Bub. There's the shot where he first appears, the shot where he hilariously sniffs his own butt, the wide shot where he jumps through Neil, the shot where Neil kisses Bub's butt, and finally, a bird's eye shot where Bub watches Neil throw a stick and doesn't run after it, just like Spence does at the park. I'm pretty much playing fetch with myself out there. Now, if you know me and you're a fan of this channel, then you know my first step was doing a test shoot. I knew I wanted to shoot Spence separately on green screen to make him transparent and ghost-like, and then Bryce, who was graciously doing the special effects, could comp him into the scene we would shoot outside. So I wanted to test 2 shots to see if my idea would work, and if Spence was up to the challenge, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, he's pretty lazy. Oh, I didn't know you were over there. Sorry. And so we've got the 35mm cinema lens on the Blackmagic. We're gonna shoot it on the Blackmagic. And then we set up our green screen, which I honestly haven't used since Laugh Stash days, which is my old YouTube channel. And we have Spence. We're also taking all of the measurements. So we're measuring the height, the distance, all the measurements so that we can then go outside and replicate the same shot outside on grass and then composite Spence over it. So this is a test to make sure that's all gonna work out when we do the real shoot. First up was testing the shot where Bub first appears. This meant Spence had to run into frame and land a specific mark, but luckily he's a real good boy and knows how to hit his marks. Next up was testing the wide shot where Bub jumps through Neil. Now, we knew this one was going to be tricky because that's a lot of action for Spence to do all at once. He's good at following direction, but not that many directions at once. So we knew we had to divide it up into a few parts. First, we had Spence run into frame and jump onto a chair, since eventually we needed him to jump through Neil. Next, we had him go around Bryce, just like Bub does with Neil in the original shot. And in post, we would plan to stitch these 2 together to make one single flowing shot. All right, now we are out here in the park and we are going to test the shots and get the actual shots with the grass. So here we go.
3-2, take 2.
For the first test, all we needed was a background plate for Spence to run into. But I knew I wanted something for him to come out behind, since in the original he comes out behind a garden statue. So we found a tree that worked perfect for a test shoot. But for the second shot, we needed someone to stand in for Neil. So I donned some Neil colors and did my best impression. Spence! Hey buddy! Oh, Spence, yay! Okay, look guys, I'm not an actor, so don't judge me, all right?
I guess that's it. All right, cool, let's cut.
Okay, so now that we got several shots here outside, we can now go inside, put them together, and see if we can make Spence into a ghost dog. And once we comp them together, we got this. Okay, these comps are cool and all, but they aren't perfect, and we learned a lot from doing them. So, armed with new information, we of course did another test shoot. Do test shoots, guys. They save lives. Or, in this case, risks. You know, from getting carpal tunnel. Okay, so we are doing a second green screen test here with Spence, and this time we are increasing our f-stop and our shutter speed so that we have less motion blur, because in the first test we had some motion blur, which made it kind of hard to key Spence. And we are also going to drop our ISO because we also had some noise, so we're doing that. We got Spence also his own green screen suit because we wanted to make it clear where he's being dissected when he's being cut in half. You can tell that he's super thrilled about it, but we have one for the front and one for the back, and it's really hard to find a dog green screen suit, so it's not exactly the same color as the green screen. So we tried our best, and we're gonna test it and see how it does. And also, I am going to wear a human green screen suit, which is gonna be a super fun look on the internet. Of course, wearing a full body green suit comes with its own problems. Now I can't do camera things. It is touchscreen. Okay, there we go. This time we decided to test the hardest shot, the wide shot, where Bub jumps through Neil. But because Bub is cut in half, we really needed to shoot each part of Spence separately so we could get a cleaner and more accurate cut line in our final comp. So we shot one shot for the front half and one shot for, well, the butt half, which meant every shot had to be done twice. But doing this with our makeshift dog green screen suit had some problems as well. Okay, action. Oh no. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold please. Wardrobe malfunction. From the first test, we also learned that we needed to break the shot up into even more parts because we realized we needed to get Spence jumping off the chair as well. So instead of 2 parts, we did it in 3 parts. The first part was the same. Spence runs into the scene and jumps onto a chair. But the next part was a little bit more tricky. We needed Spence to jump off the chair and then go around it, a trick he hadn't specifically learned yet, so I had to guide him with a treat each time.
Nailed it.
Good job! Yay! Then, for the final piece, we needed Spence to go around me, which luckily is a trick he knows well. Maybe a little too well.
Good job. Ow. Jeez. That's my whole hand.
This way, he'll start to go around Neil after jumping off the chair, and Neil's legs will create an invisible cut point where we can stitch this third final part in. Keep in mind though, we had to shoot each part twice for the butt part.
Yay! Good job!
Since we already shot the outside plate, we didn't need to shoot it again. So when we put it all together, we got this.
Spence! Hey, buddy! Oh, Spence! Yay!
Okay, so this doesn't look that exciting, but that's because we didn't need to do all the cleanup and visual effects work to make it look perfect and ghost-like we did last time. We just needed to see if our plan would work, and it did. It looks like one seamless take of Spence, or at least it will. So the only thing left to do was to shoot the actual shots. Okay, we are here and this is shoot day 2. We are finally doing the green screen with Spence. So we already on Saturday shot all of the normal humans, the human shots. And now we're here, we just completely destroyed the living room and turned it into a green screen stage. We needed more light, so I rented a KinoFlow Diva, which is right over here, to pump in some extra light to really light up the green screen so that we have less noise. And we also rented the same lenses that Wei used Saturday on location. We got the Sigma Cinema lenses from Lens Rentals. Shout out to Liz at Lens Rentals for hooking me up. Thanks, Liz. And I got the EF mount so that they will work with the Blackmagic Cinema 6K Pro. And Wei was shooting on the red helium, so there is a crop factor difference that we're taking into account when we're shooting these shots here on the green screen. And special thanks to Raquel, our first AC, who took all of the measurements and the camera settings down for us so that we can match those here in the living room as best as we can in this tiny space. All right, so now it's time to shoot Spence on the green screen. It's his time to shine. And I gotta go wake him up though. He's taking his afternoon nap.
Spence, are you ready? Come on, bud.
Luckily, we had a couple of tricks up our sleeve to make sure our frame was looking just right. First, we used some of the props from the shooting location next to Spence as a reference to help us out. Then we did yet another test shot, and Bryce did a quick comp to make sure Spence looked right size-wise in the live action plate we shot on Saturday. Once we had the final comp that looked good, it was on to shooting the shots. It was finally time to put all of our hard work from the test shoots into action. Once again, shooting every shot twice. Once for Spence's top half and another for Spence's butt half. His butt is really getting a lot of screen time. For the chair jumping shots, we had another modification, a green screen suit for the chair. This way we could easily key out the chair and not have to rotoscope it out of the shot. Once we finished the chair shots, there was one last shot to get, the bird's eye view shot. Now, we knew this shot would be a whole thing, so we didn't do a test shoot for it. And we were right, it was a whole thing. You see, to achieve the bird's eye view shot on set when we were filming the human parts, we used a DJI drone. This meant we couldn't really record all of the same camera measurements as we had before, such as camera height or distance to subject. We didn't have the drone for the shoot with Spence, so we had to improvise a little bit. Okay, we are on my balcony and we are shooting the final green screen shot for Spence. And the shot is like a bird's eye shot, so we're getting kind of creative by putting the camera on my balcony out here and shooting down here into the driveway of my neighbor. Shh, don't tell them. They don't know. Now, shooting a green screen outside can be difficult, especially if it's windy, which it was, unfortunately. But we used some sandbags to weigh down the corners, which helped prevent the green screen from flapping too much in the wind. All that was left was for Spence to just sit there on the green screen. He's such a great actor. Now that we are done, I'm gonna break the green screen down and I'm going to actually wash it because it's never been washed and has gotten so dirty during this project. There's now dog hair, there's leaves, there's dirt. It's time to officially wash this thing. Once we had all the shots we needed, Bryce was able to start comping the dog shots with the human shots. And just to add a little spice to the shots, he was able to use Element 3D to make Spence's gross innards, complete with a spinal cord. A fun little addition we added that wasn't in the original scene. Once we had it all comped together, we finally had our ghost dog shots. And that's how we made Spence into a gross yet lovable ghost dog. But that's only the dog half of the behind the scenes. Just like Bub, we've sliced this behind the scenes into 2 parts. So join us next time as we dive into all the various elements that went into capturing the human side of the scene, such as casting choices, replicating set design, and the challenge of shooting outside in 100-degree weather. I'm sweating in places I didn't know could sweat.
Aww.
Every second, I just feel like a new drip go down my chest.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
Also, don't forget that you can check out the scene with a side-by-side comparison of the original film on the LAIKA YouTube channel here. And if you want to see even more great content like this ParaNorman project from me, then please consider supporting me on Patreon. With your support, I can make more videos like this and keep making films. Plus, by supporting me on Patreon, you can get access to all of my filmmaking templates and more for the low cost of only $5 a month. There, I have other tiers that get you early access to all my videos, as well as my entire filmmaking chat live stream archive, where I interview other filmmakers so you can learn from their sage wisdom. There's over 26 recordings exclusively on Patreon, so there's lots more to learn there. So stay tuned for the next behind the scenes and go film it yourself.